Hey, everybody, we are back with Maya Best Practices, where we feature owners, salon brands who are utilizing Maya and they are doing it really well. They're going to share behind the scenes of what they do to really optimize their marketing software. So today I have Celene Dupuis.
You got it.
Dang it. Celine just joined me on the Beyond the Technique podcast, which is powered by Maya. If you've not checked that out, please do. I'll put the link in today's YouTube video so you can see that episode. It's so good. Everybody's loving it. And it's called Cash Flow Turbulence. So, partly why Celine is like fired up about Maya, and that plays an important role in helping create more cash flow. But that's not what today's about. Today's about seeing really the behind the scenes of her best practices and utilizing Maya. So welcome Celine to be Maya Best Practices.
Thanks. I'm really happy to be here and to share some of the things that are working amazing for us to help grow our business through Maya.
Well, I'm excited because you've really seen the first iteration when Maya used to be Meet Your Stylist, and then, with the pandemic paused, now back in this new iteration. Why do you feel like now is the right time to really focus on having Maya as a tool for your business?
Yeah, and I mean, I shared a little bit about this in the podcast, but I mean, I've always loved when it was Meet Your Stylist. I was like, this is really cool. And then COVID hit, and like the reality was, it's like, hey, we have to trim the expenses. And I think what I didn't really do the first time around, like I like the old infomercial, like set it and forget it. We signed up, the quiz was running, like it was really cool, but I wasn't measuring. I didn't have any best practices. I wasn't tracking, and there was no systems in place. So I think, the reason why we're like, hey, we need it back is like, obviously the numbers and what you're doing is proven. It builds
Mhm.
your new guest retention, or sorry, your guest retention, but
Yeah.
also new guests. Like new guest retention in the industry is only 20%. So I can put a ton of money into advertising, and for every 10 guests I get through the door, only two will actually stay. So I'm losing eight out of every 10. So I not only do I want to keep satisfaction of our current guests that maybe we're seeing the wrong stylist, but when we do bring new people in, like we needed something that could up that percentage. Like our goal is to be at least 35 or 40% for new guest retention. And that's a number right now that we're just tracking very closely. So that's why I brought it back. And I was like, okay, it's time to actually shit or get off the pot, so to speak, and like put things in place and play the way that they should be.
Do you have any stats so far that you've seen that you're like, I'm really excited about this?
Yeah, so far, I mean, we are sitting at about a 20%. So 20% of the people that have booked or sorry, taken the quiz have actually turned into guests, and that's new guests. I think why I'm excited about that, that's an industry average number. But the reason I'm excited about it is, well, number one, it's already paid for several months of the fee of signing up for Maya. But I think the big thing is that right now we have no two-way text capability. Like this is solely just from email. Like they fill out the quiz, our team sends an email. You guys give great instruction on that, on what to say in the email, but like, hey, thanks for filling out the quiz. We'd love to set you up with two of your matches. Here's some appointment times. So we know email open rate is, I don't even remember what the average is. And, I make up my own stats, but it's like below 30%, I think, is like open rate for emails. And so with that low of a stat, we have 20% people that are converting to becoming clients. We have two-way texting that should be up and running by May. So I'm like, man, can you imagine once we are actually texting those clients, we could probably be at 35, 40% for lead generation actually turning into an actual guest. So to me, that's really exciting.
Yeah, and you're going to share your behind the scenes of how you really created a system to work Maya, which I think is going to be so powerful for everybody to see. One thing I want to share that's just encouraging to everybody is don't just look at who took the survey this month and came in this month as conversion. but who took the survey and has been in year to date. Here's why. Somebody might take your survey today. Now you get your brand in front of them, you nurture, market them. They may not come in for a couple months for their very first, oh, finally they're ready to buy. Now I think of you. Now I'll come in. If you start tracking that, I promise you over the course of a year, I promise you, you're going to see that your conversions are going to be between 35 and 55%. It's going to be huge.
Yeah,
So
and I think that's
awesome.
what I'm most excited about is right now I only have a few months data with previous experience, but I just can't wait to see like because measuring retention, you need a little while to do
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to actually now measure the retention of
Oh,
the
so cool.
guests.
Well, I know you're going to share your screen with us and just tell us, what do you do? What are your best practices that is making this so successful for you?
Yeah. So first, I'm going to preface. I think that when we first get something new in, we feel really overwhelmed. And my coach Doug from HPSA High Performance Salon Academy is always like, "Listen, Celene, how do you eat an elephant? It's like one bite at a time." So I think when we start this, sometimes we freeze because we're like, "I have to have it all together." I just wanted to preface this by saying my system's not perfect yet. We're still retraining, but it's like, how could I get it off the ground? So instead of being inactive with it, we can take immediate action and then adjust it as we go. So we use a program called Trello. Trello is, I always say it's like Pinterest. So you're looking at my Trello board right now. It's kind of like Pinterest where you can have multiple boards for multiple things. So for me, I was like, okay, when I open this up, I'm like, the first step is you need to create like, what does your client journey look like? So the client fills out the survey. What do I want to happen? Like, how will we reach out to them? Is it an email? Is it a text? What will that email say? Then after we've reached out, like, will we reach out again? Like, what happens if they've booked an appointment? What do we do? And how do we track it? So this is kind of my version one of our process. Since then, we've actually received from your team an amazing like spreadsheet that populates live. So we have to update this. But essentially, what we started is like you can see on the left side here, it's like, what is our communication journey? So I want to be able to, I'm not managing this. I'm a CEO of a company. I don't have time to manage, all the people that are taking the survey. My team is managing it. But I can have like a label system set up so like I can scroll through and see like who are the clients that we've yet to reach out on and like who have we sent emails to, who have booked, who were already a client, who was a first time client. So we can just have like that visual, that really quick visual if I want to pop in and do a once over. But essentially what we created is like, what is our SOP? So system operating procedure. Hot tip, ChatGPT can write this for you. I just fed it like this is the steps. Write this into a system operating procedure for me. So when I train the team, it's like, what is our objective? What's the step-by-step guide? So like, how often are we going to do it? At the end of every week, we want to review all the guests. We want to check their appointment status. Like, have they booked yet? If so, what do we do with it on the Trello board? How do we handle unresponsive clients? How are we going to manage bounce back emails? So basically just like, what are all the things that we need to do? Right. So if I was training someone and I wasn't here, could they read this and know what they had to do? Then we created one also for handling email responses and getting a Maya client booked. So, prompt response, what does that look like? How are we going to actually put them into our booking system? How often do we want to do this? And then, creating scripts. So if they're a previous client of the salon, like and ChatGPT did this for me, like, what would we want to say? What tone of voice would we want to say it in? So basically just what I love about Trello is everything could live here. And then essentially all we do is we open up our back end. This will change now that we have the Google Sheet from you guys that auto populates, but essentially we just put the client info in. And then basically we just copy and paste all of their answers. So whoever is responding to the email doesn't have to open up, like go into the back end of Maya, like everything is there. It's like answering messages, all the info's there. And then we just move them into the correct category. So, once we've said this person hasn't been moved yet. So we've gotten in touch with them, we can move them over here. Once they're booked at the end of the week, the team checks and they move everybody into a booked category. we've got no response, and we've got a bounce back category. So it's just it seems comprehensive, but it's pretty basic. And I think the key there is like this isn't going to necessarily be how we do it always. We're about to now adjust it, but you got to start somewhere, right? So just to me, this is how we got going. It all lives here right now, and we'll get better at figuring out how we want it to look moving forward when we figure out what works and doesn't.
Well, I think you gotta give yourself more credit. I know you keep saying this is basic, we're just starting, but like this is awesome. And I think what is encouraging is it doesn't need to be overly complex because the
Totally.
name of the game is butts in the seats. Here's what I think is cool that I'm noticing is some of these say previous client. So we're driving former clients back
Yeah.
into somebody else's chair. So utilizing this when you have a staff member that's
Mhm.
no longer on the team for whatever reason, or maybe they're on a leave of absence for a time frame. Even somebody who's outpriced or booked too far out, where a client's like, well, either I'm going elsewhere unless I could find somebody else that I feel a connection with. So I really love seeing that that is a category that you've created.
And there's when I scroll through, like the purple is previous client, like there's quite a few
Yeah,
that took the survey. The other thing I noticed was this mint green one already had booked.
nice.
So to me, I wanted to be able to see a visual representation because it's like, how many of them are we having to contact? And like, what is the rate? Like, look at how many of these mint green ones there are that took the survey and immediately booked from there without us even having to contact them. Like that's a pretty large number. It looks like there's more than half of this list that
Yeah.
just went ahead and booked themselves, which is really cool.
Well, easy online booking, I'll be talking about this soon, is that one of the top 3 things that people want when they visit a salon. They want it to be easy online booking, so that's great that you have that in place. This
Yeah.
is awesome. So I really like that you brought up using ChatGPT. Man, just when you and this is a total like bonus thing, but let's say you're hiring for a position you've never hired for before. I'm like, write me a description for a district manager role at a salon and you know what I mean? And it comes
Yeah.
up and then you just tweak it and make it sound more like you. So I think that's such a great tip that you're bringing that into this as how you quickly put that together cuz
Yeah.
you hit it on the head when you said like don't let this be a daunting
Yeah.
thing for you.
And the reality is when you're using a new program. So when I first started using Trello, it took a minute to be like, where do I put this and how do I want to organize it? But I set that up in under it was like under 2 hours. Like all my scripts were written. And I think it's like, again, using AI to make our lives easier. So just to say, listen, create a SOP for a brand new quiz that we have. These are the steps that need to happen for this SOP. Like step number one, like we're checking Maya at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m., like whatever it is. Like, so you're just feeding it and then it cleans it all up. So I don't have to worry about grammar, making it sound simple. It's going to do that for me. I just have to feed it the info. Same with scripts. It's like write a script write a script for people who've taken our stylist soulmate quiz. We want the script to give them appointment times for their top 2 matches. And we want the tone to sound like, and you feed it everything like the tone of our business. We want it to sound fun, cheeky, and with a human touch, we always say. So it's like write it in brand and it'll create script options for you. And you just got to copy and paste it somewhere.
So Maya, of course I'm obsessed. And so there is so many things it can do for your salon business. We've talked about retention, we've talked about new client count. You did something really cool, which is to start a blog in order to increase your SEO. Because,
Mm.
if investors said, well, what's your one thing that Maya does? When I want to say, here's all the things we can do. Well, we are first and foremost a conversion tool. So we convert website visitors into lifetime clients. So if you know that 20% who are taking it are booking and your traffic count is 1,000 visitors per month, what do we do to make it 2,000 per month, right? Because then
Right.
once you have your mathematics in place, you can predict your outcomes. So I applaud you for starting your blog to increase your website traffic because your SEO is increased. I would love if you take a moment to share with everybody what has been that blog post that really encouraged people to maybe experience your matchmaking opportunity.
Yeah, so I mean, I decided, listen, like everyone and their dog has a blog. Like, man, do I really want it? But to be quite honest, like we just opened our second location last year and the SEO sucks. Like, I mean, I just got to take that mask down. It's not good. In fact, I thought it was really awesome. It's called Blonde. I thought it would be really cool to take the vowel out and spell it BLNDE. Because that was my license plate on my Vespa. I was like, that's a cool idea. And it's like, but that makes us not very searchable because people are like, well, that's not how you spell blonde. So they're not searching our name spelled correctly. So all you salon owners who have like unique spelling for your salon names, I'm sure it's bit you in the ass too. So I was like, listen, I'm just going to do it. But if I'm going to do it, like what would be controversial topics that like salons don't really like to talk to their clients about? So I was like, I'm going to launch it off like big. It's like, how do you break up with your hairstylist? And so for me, the idea came from the first time when I signed up with Meet Your Stylist, before it was Maya. It was
Mhm.
like the whole idea that like we want to encourage stylist swapping because the number one reason that stylists will leave a salon is because they didn't have, and again, this is another made up by me stat, but I think the number one reason is because maybe they didn't connect with their stylist. And you're not going to come back to that salon and feel like you're cheating on your hairdresser. It feels weird for them.
Mhm.
So we like really got into this stylist swapping, but it's like, okay, but from a client perspective, when you have to like go see someone else, it doesn't feel good. So we basically just wrote a blog on like, this is how you handle that. But of course, the other side of that was they're going to be like, ooh, break up with my hairstylist. This sounds kind of crazy. I want to read it. But it's like, but also we encourage stylist swapping in our space. Like you don't actually have to feel like you have to break up with your stylist at our salon. And we have this a really amazing tool called Maya, and it's a stylist soulmate quiz we've created just for you. So I think for us, it's like every blog post, you obviously don't want to seem like you're just selling. If I'm going to do a blog post about bridal, that's another one we're launching right away. And again, it's driving them back to um, take our Maya stylist soulmate quiz so they can find their perfect bridal stylist. That I'm excited about because we're building our bridal business. And I think that will bring in new bridal leads that we never would have gotten had we not had like, hey, what other salon has a quiz where you can find your perfect bridal stylist?
It's brilliant. I love that you're doing both of those. And for everybody listening and watching, you can have this, find your soulmate, match with the right person. That could be a call to action for almost every single blog, even if you're blogging about, let's say, a new product launch. Hey, these are those new products. Here's what we love about it. Here's what you'll love about it. But if you don't know which products to use, come in for a complimentary consultation. If you're unsure who to book with, take our stylist soulmate
Mm.
quiz, right? So no matter what the topic is, it usually can be a call to action for most of those blogs. And
Yeah.
what's brilliant about that is you're putting people through your funnel and you're capturing their information, and data is king. So once I have your information, I can start marketing to you consistently, and we know, again, it becomes statistics. If I get in front of 100 people, how many times, when will they come in? And then you just keep doing that same thing over and over. So you built it once, you have a system in place, and you'll kind of tweak it and enhance it as you go.
100%.
But now you don't have to ever build it again. You just keep working
Yeah.
it over and over. So I love it. You're doing
In
awesome.
fact, one of the tools, like when you say that, one of the tools we made is just on Canva. We made like a blog footer, and it's literally just the like find your stylist soulmate. And then on all of our email campaigns that we send out, and in all like the blog posts at the bottom, they can click on that, and it'll even if we put a button in, we still put that footer on the bottom of everything and link it to the quiz. So I think there's other creative ways. And I personally, this is like me being like, now you need to create the next tool for me, Katie. And that's to create, because I created my own fake one, a salon soulmate quiz for staff recruitment. And there's no analytics to it. It's just like a lead generator fake survey, choose like A, B, C, D, right? But like that would be amazing. Like, how do we capture, how do stylists find their perfect salon match?
Mm. Well, something to think about.
Work to do, work to do. But yeah, I'm like, it's just the idea, the basic idea of like recruitment or sorry, retention for clients is so huge that it's like, man, we're also wanting to build retention with with our stylists and our
Yeah.
staff. And I think part of what makes a Maya salon unique is the fact that like if I can show you numbers that when you work here, your client retention is higher, you'll build quicker because of this tool, like that's such a benefit for a stylist and from for me as a recruitment tool to be like work with us because we have the systems in place that will build your client retention and your business faster.
We could have broken this down into like 4 different best practices videos based on everything we just brought up. So, maybe we need to bring you back for another one, but I
Yeah.
love everything you're saying. Thank you for sharing the visuals of Trello. And yeah, I love that we're doing these little best practice videos to encourage our community. Like, this should be the most successful marketing campaign that you continuously have in place, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
um, so you're doing awesome, and I really appreciate your time to come here and share that with everybody.
Thank you. I'm excited to see like I get inspired from the community and like, oh, this Maya salon's doing this. I love that. So I think when we can work collaboratively as a
Yeah.
community, we all win.
Yeah, and I love, keep the ideas coming. Hey, I wish Maya could do this or that or have this feature. Like, we really take it serious when owners bring those to us because we love you and we want to support you. We are you. Like, it's all about the people, the community. So, like, let's just continue to grow this. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Love it.
And all right, everybody, thanks for joining us here. And keep an eye out for your emails when we send you all of the updates about Maya best practices. We're going to keep these coming. If you feel like you're doing something special with your Maya software, please reach out to us. Just email us at info@joinmaya.com and let us know. And we would love to set up this opportunity to feature what you're doing so that more people that are a part of Maya will get better and better because of that. So have an awesome day, everybody, and stay strong.